Welcome to Support Life, a program focusing on current social issues from a life-affirming perspective. I'm John Hendriks, and this week our guest is Allison Lattie, Director of Crossroads. Hello Allison, welcome to our program.
Hi John, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Now you're all the way from the States, Washington DC.
That's right, all the way from Washington.
It's a long way.
It's a very long way, yeah, but happy to be here.
Yes, thank you for coming. Tell us a little bit about yourself personally.
Well, I actually grew up in New Orleans, which is in the South, in the States, and I graduated from Franciscan University of Steubenville in Ohio, which is a very good Catholic school. And after that, I had the opportunity to live in Australia for a year in 2009, and moving back to the States, I began working for Crossroads full-time. And that's what I'm still doing to this day.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And for our viewers, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what Crossroads is.
Yeah, so Crossroads began in 1995 by a group of university students. And these students heard Blessed John Paul II speak at World Youth Day. And he challenged the youth to not be afraid to go out onto the streets to preach Christ and the good news of salvation. And so these group of guys decided that they were going to walk from San Francisco, California to Washington, D.C. during their summer holidays. They never thought it would grow into what it has, but they made it that summer all the way across America. And ever since then, we've been sponsoring walks, not only across America, but now Canada, Ireland, Spain, and here in Australia. This is our second summer here.
That's amazing. That is an amazing story. So 1995 it started. And a group of guys walked for how many days or weeks?
About 12 weeks, so their entire summer holidays, beginning in May, ending in August, all the way across, yeah.
Can't imagine walking for a couple of 12 hours, let alone 12 weeks.
Right, quite a feat.
Yeah, and Crossroads has now replicated that in many countries over the last 15 or 20 years now. It's almost been 20 years, hasn't it?
Yep.
So Australia, Canada, America, where else?
Ireland and Spain.
Spain, yeah. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks.
Now, tell us about the Australian, what happens here?
Well, this is our second summer. We just completed. We're very excited. And so our goal is to walk from Brisbane to Melbourne. And so we have university students who volunteer their holiday time to be a part of the team, and they wear fluorescent yellow t-shirts. They say Pro Life across the front, and essentially they're being a peaceful and prayerful witness down the coast. So we walk the major cities and towns along the way and have the opportunity to pray for the end of abortion, to pray for Australia, to talk to people along the way, and just kind of educate and be a witness to Christ, be a witness to the pro-life movement throughout the country.
Fantastic, yeah. And have you visited any of the other countries in your work as Director of Crossroads?
I have. Well, I went to Spain for World Youth Day,
right.
Which was actually how the Spanish Walk began, was some guys at World Youth Day saw us and wanted to begin it over there. And I've been to Ireland as well.
Fantastic.
To help recruit, yeah.
One of our previous guests was from Ireland, and there's a pro-life culture there in
Very
Ireland.
Much so, yeah.
What's the pro-life culture like in the States?
It's good. It's growing, which is excellent. It's obviously abortion and pro-life are very hot topics in the States and in Australia as well. So people are becoming more vocal, which I think is important, because for a long time maybe we sat too dormant. But now a lot of the youth are getting involved. They're learning more. They're realizing the truth behind abortion and the horrors of it, and they want to take a stand against it. So it's growing, and it's being more positive and getting bigger and louder, which is great.
And your personal involvement in the pro-life area started when you were at university.
That's right.
Tell us a bit about that.
So, as I said, I went to Franciscan, which is a great little school, and it's a very Catholic community. About 2,000 students, all very active in their faith, all very active in pro-life. And while I was active in my faith when I started there, pro-life wasn't something that was on my radar, I guess. And it was because of the positive peer pressure. It was because of my friends and their influence and their teaching me, more about what was going on that really brought to light the truth behind it. And Monsignor Riley, who is the founder of the Helpers of God's Precious Infants, which is a good group in Australia as well, he came and did a small retreat one weekend and taught us how to sidewalk counsel, and we went and had a prayer vigil at the clinic. And it was that day that really, really hit me hard, watching the women going in and watching Monsignor try to approach these women out of genuine love and concern for them, that really just tied it all together and made me realize that I needed to be a part of this in a big way.
That was how many years ago was that?
Oh gosh, that was in 2006.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it's been 8 years now.
About so, yeah.
Lots of experiences in the last 8 years, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. More than I wish I had sometimes. Yeah.
Yes.
A blessing and a curse being part of the pro-life movement,
Yes, it is. Yes. And how long is your this current visit in Australia for? How long have you been down here for?
I arrived at the beginning of January. I leave tomorrow morning.
Oh, wow.
So about a month. Yeah. So I've been here 1 month, which is about the length of the walk in Australia.
You were involved in the walk did you walk yourself or were you?
Not this particular summer. This year we were short on drivers for our support vans. So I had the sacrifice of sitting in a van all summer with aircon on while
fantastic.
other people walked.
Okay, well, on that note, we're going to come back, in a moment and hear more about you.
Great.
About your walk. So you're watching Support Life. We'll be back straight after the break. Welcome back to Support Life. I'm John Hendriks and our guest is Allison Lattie. Hello, Allison.
Hi.
Now, just before the break, we were talking about your experiences on tour, driving the bus. That was this recent Australian walk, is that right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it went very well from my point of view in the van. We started on the 13th of January in Brisbane at the Cathedral of St. Stephen's and began walking from there to Melbourne. So from the van, it was a nice view. And it went very well. We had about 10 people the whole time, sometimes different people in and out, but always around 10. We also had a priest with us from the Diocese of Cairns,
Fantastic.
Father Hilary Flynn. So we were really blessed to have him, who incidentally he was the priest on the first walk in 1995. So full circle.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, just for our viewers, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about your day-to-day role as director of Crossroads. What do you do there? Well,
typically, back in the States, throughout the year, I travel a lot. I'm speaking at universities, at different pro-life groups, and speaking at different parishes throughout the United States, as well as occasionally Canada, occasionally Ireland. A little trickier to get in and out of Australia throughout the year. So I get to speak to the groups and try and recruit some courageous young people to walk across their different home countries and speak at parishes as well to help raise awareness and to help fundraise for the ministry.
Fantastic. And the group itself, I believe there's 3 to 5 members in your office. You achieve a lot for 3 to 5 members, especially running it worldwide. What does it do and what are you trying to achieve at Crossroads?
We're trying to achieve, I think there are different levels for any type of issue or ministry, but for pro-life, there are going to be your different levels. There's going to be the ones that are out in front. They're going to be the people in journalism or the people out in front of cameras, the people in politics, and they have those main roles that are seen. And then you have Crossroads at the grassroots movement where we're behind the scenes a lot of the time. We're walking. Occasionally it can feel like to us and to others, what's the point? but the point is the prayer and the sacrifice that goes into stopping abortion and for the healing of the women who have been affected by abortion and the different people who have been hurt by it. And that's Crossroads' primary goal, is to be a peaceful and prayerful witness. We're just wearing shirts that say pro-life, and it's enough to start all sorts of conversations. It's just planting that seed throughout the countries that we're walking through. So that's our primary goal. And
some experiences you've had, I was recently at a March for the Babies in Australia, and I experienced some incredible feeling of, anxiousnous and worry when people are throwing things at you and hurling abuse at you. Do you get any of that in any of the walks?
We do occasionally. We haven't had anything thrown at us, praise God. I think we'd probably just start praying if we did. But we do, there are some insults that get yelled, mostly just as they drive by or walk by. But every now and then someone wants to stop and have an actual conversation, which is great. And we really appreciate those moments of grace where we do get to converse with someone of a different viewpoint. But every now and then, there's a little hate behind the walks.
And some of the experiences which stand out in your mind, can you relate to any that stand out over time?
Of negative or positive?
Positive.
Oh, good. I don't want to remember the negative. One of our favorite stories from Crossroads history is a few years ago. Every Saturday while we're on the walks, we go and we pray outside of local abortion clinic of whatever major city we're in. And there was a team praying outside the clinic, the same clinic that the team the year before had prayed at. And a guy drove up and he said, "I saw your team last year." He said, "I saw them because I was coming to bring my daughter in to have an abortion." And when he saw the group of students lined up in front of the clinic just praying, they weren't protesting, they weren't yelling, they were just praying. He couldn't do it, he couldn't bring his daughter in. And so he got back in the car and they drove to the hospital, and she had an ultrasound and she was having twins. And so he had the twin grandchildren in the backseat of his car, and he came to thank the following year's team for what their predecessors had done.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
2 children, 2 grandchildren as a result of that, directly from that.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's tons of stories that we don't get the privilege of hearing while we're here. But
of course.
Yeah, lots of seeds sown.
Thank you for sharing that. And tell us if people wanted to get involved with Crossroads or just in pro-life, what would some of your advice be? Yeah,
to get involved with Crossroads, so the walking aspect, we recommend that they be 18 to 30 because it is a university-based ministry. So they can visit our website to find more information and to apply for the next summer's walks. There's also an opportunity for those who can't walk to maybe donate or to offer. We need housing, especially in Australia as we're coming down the coast. So to help the walkers out in that way, either by donation or by putting us up for a night, those are great ways to get involved. And just outside of Crossroads and pro-life in general, just getting in contact with your local church and seeing what kind of efforts they're doing in the pro-life movement and what you can get involved in. Yeah, those are great ways to start.
Absolutely, it certainly is, and I hope some of our viewers, their hearts are opened up and turned to that. Now, it comes to the end of our little segment for you, Allison. We really appreciate your time, especially all the way from Washington, DC, and good luck for your trip. We're going to speak to your colleague, Chris, about some of his experiences on the walk from Brisbane to Melbourne, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you very much.
You're watching Support Life. We'll be back straight after the break with Chris Dasilva from Brisbane Crossroads. Welcome back to Support Life. I'm John Hendriks, and our second guest for this program is Chris Dasilva. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks very much. Good to be here, John.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself personally.
Yeah, well, I live in Brisbane and I'm currently a journalism student. I'm about to finish my degree at the end of this year. I've been living in Australia for about 6 years and I previously grew up in South Africa. I lived there until I was 17.
Fantastic. How are you finding Australia?
Oh, I love it. It's my new home. I feel very at home here and yeah, it's a great country to live in.
It is a beautiful country. We're very blessed. Tell us about your involvement with Crossroads as well. Tell us about your involvement and how that came about.
Yeah, well, I started my journalism degree in 2012 and as a Catholic, looking at journalism and looking at the news, I was reading a lot of news about what's going on in the world in terms of life issues, so abortion, euthanasia, etc. And that really got me more passionate about the issue. So at the end of 2012, I saw an ad on Facebook actually, looking for walkers to do the first Crossroads walk in Australia. And something jumped in my heart and I just felt like I had to do it. So it was all go from there.
Fantastic. When was that exactly?
That was about the end of 2012, sort of towards the end of my last semester of that year, November probably.
Okay. And was that the Brisbane to Melbourne walk?
Yeah, that's correct. So a 4-week walk from Brisbane to Melbourne.
Wow. Tell us about that. I'm sure our viewers would love to know someone that's walked for 4 weeks. It's amazing.
So it's I still, looking back, I can't believe that I've done it and I've done it again. It's an intense experience and it's a life-changing experience as well. Your heart definitely gets captivated by the issue and I've just been so touched by some of the people who I've come to meet along the way. And it doesn't matter how many times someone says something negative about the issue to you as you're walking. As soon as somebody comes to encourage you, it just gives you the energy to take that extra step, no matter how tired you're getting. So it's been amazing, yeah. So
I guess you would have had to face the elements, walking day, night. How many hours a day do you actually walk?
I suppose the average day would be walking from about 10 until 6. So we usually have to be at a host home around 6 o'clock or wherever we're staying that night. And in the morning, we go to Mass every morning, so we've got to get Mass in and pray morning prayer together as a team every morning too. So about 10 till 6 is probably average. Good day.
That's a long day.
Yeah.
And can you think of any experiences that come to mind in this particular first walk you did?
Well, I can think of a few. I mean, I don't really know where to start, but we were in Newcastle. That was the second weekend that we had during the walk, and I spoke at one of the masses there, and there were a couple of older ladies who came up to me after one of the masses, and they had tears streaming down their face, and one of them came and kissed me on both cheeks, and she was like, "I'm so encouraged that there are young people standing up for this issue." And I could see on her face that she had previously felt like there was no hope, that the younger generation simply weren't going to be pro-life, weren't going to stand up for the issue. And here we are walking across the country and she was overwhelmed by that, and it just encouraged me so much for the rest of the walk and just to keep fighting for the issue.
It's truly amazing. And tell us, Chris, apparently you've done a leg of the USA walk for 4 weeks?
That's correct, yeah. So I partly fundraised and Crossroads partly also fundraised for me to go over to do their Southern Walk between June and July last year, so 2013. And in that time I walked from Texas to Alabama. So it was in some hot weather. It was an amazing experience. I met some incredible people and once again, even more spurred on from that experience to keep going, fighting for life, yeah.
So, just for our viewers, yeah. Texas to
Alabama.
Alabama, what's the distance there?
Oh, it's probably a few 100 kilometers, I'm guessing. It was over 4 weeks, and yeah, so you walk in miles in America. Everything's in miles, so I didn't really even know how to convert them at the time. But
yeah.
In America, because you're allowed to walk on the smaller highways there, so it's very constant walking. So you've got a couple of people walking, and then you see your van up ahead, and as soon as they see you, the next couple of people in the van will get out and start walking, and you keep rotating like that.
Amazing. I'm still blown away at both your efforts to walk across the country. And your third walk, was it in Australia, the third one you did?
Yeah, that's correct. That was just really finished now. So it's been the second walk in Australia ever, and my third walk. And yeah, again, it's been amazing. I can't get enough of it.
And that's just finished in the last week or few days?
The last couple of days, yeah.
So how are the legs?
The legs are all right. One of my feet was giving me a bit of trouble, but I think it just needs some rest. So, I mean, it's obviously expected that you're going to get aches and pains on the walk, but part of the sacrifice that we offer up. So.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And to our viewers, Chris, what advice would you give our viewers? Some people may be watching that, they believe in this subject, they know that it's perhaps, their views maybe agree with what you're saying. What advice would you give them? Yeah,
well, I at first felt like I didn't know very much about the pro-life issue when I was getting involved in Crossroads, but I saw it as a great avenue to be a witness not only to my faith and to my faith in the church and in Jesus Christ, but also to the fact that I feel like life really should be protected at all stages. And so I came on Crossroads, and at the end of our first walk, we had an address by Dr. David Van Ghent, a pro-life doctor from Toowoomba, and he told us about the importance of walking with justice and tenderness. So justice on the point of being courageous, not compromising our views on the pro-life issue, no matter what the laws do, no matter what other people tell us, just standing up for life, no matter what the circumstances are. And then tenderness on the part of, you're going to get into conversations with people, you're going to get angry with people because they're getting angry at you, and you want to, your walls want to come up and defend you. But that's when God's calling us to be compassionate and to be gentle, and although stand up for the truth, love them with a charitable heart. So
fantastic. Yeah. We really appreciate you coming onto our show and the great efforts you've done in walking for pro-life. So good luck for the future.
Thank you so much.
You've been watching Support Life. Join us again next week. Goodbye for now.